I'm Shelley Till, and welcome into this edition of the Tri-State Report. This is a special show brought to you to discuss the impact and response of COVID-19 in the Dubuque County area and beyond. My first guest today is from the Dubuque County Board of Health, Diane Pape-Freiburger. Welcome, Diane.
Thank you. I appreciate your interest in this initiative.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest in this initiative, Diane, and we're going to talk specifically about Test Iowa. What exactly is Test Iowa, and how is it different than what we had prior to utilizing this service?
Test Iowa is an initiative brought in by the state in conjunction with a contract with a private company that was able to supply more testing materials, and also the algorithm where people would enter in data and they could trace people. And so with that tracing, it is easier to take a look at different counties, different locations within the counties that individuals may need testing. And also then they can take a look at, when they look into the future of where to set up more Test Iowa sites, that they're able to take a look at that data to see where that's at. It's the demographics are very important with this one, and that's why I'm encouraging all Dubuquers to go into testiowa.com and enter into the assessment. The initiative was started a week ago, well, actually 10 days ago now, on April 21st for the state of Iowa. And as of Wednesday, the governor announced there was 229,000 Iowans that have entered into the assessment, taken the assessment into testiowa.com. Dubuque is lagging in this. There are 5 other counties that were listed that have been really great at entering this in. Why that's important is because when we're taking a look at maybe needing different services or different information, we do not get that because people haven't entered in that data. So Dubuquers, get out there, enter it in. The initiative that we had before this, there was, you've heard lack of testing before. This way, with this private company, they have that testing materials to bring in. It's a combination of testing that they do. They do both the nasal swab that you've been seeing for a long time throughout the country and through Iowa, but we were running low on supplies for that. So by contracting this company, they were able to get more supplies to do that. They are also doing serology, the antibody testing. And with that antibody testing, it will give them different information, but that's what's different between what we were doing before and what we're doing now. Now we can ramp up testing. We can have more testing done.
And so, Diane, let's talk about you're putting a call out to the tri-state area, to Dubuquers to get tested. What is the process to see if they're eligible to be tested?
They go to testiowa.com on their computer. There are individuals that do not have computers, so the governor is suggesting that a neighbor or a family member would help them out with that. The importance of also having the computer is you have to be connected to a printer if you need to, or that phone that they are doing the assessment on has to go with them if they're eligible. So if you go into testiowa.com and there's an assessment, it's real easy. I've gone through it. The first part is demographics. Where do you live? That kind of thing. And then it goes into an assessment as far as it starts right out with symptoms. Do you have these symptoms or that symptoms? That helps to prioritize who is coming or who may be eligible or not. And it also asks if you are a nurse, if you work in long-term care facilities, if you work in a hospital, because that helps to prioritize who gets tested also.
And Diane, can you speak to where, if someone is eligible, where are these testing sites?
Currently, they have the testing sites that they first set up down in Des Moines, and then they set one up earlier this week in Waterloo. And then on next week, the governor has announced that they are going to be setting up 2 new testing sites, one in Woodbury County and one in Scott County. So if you qualified for testing and you are in Dubuque County, you would be directed it would come up. It tells you right after your assessment whether you are eligible or not. It will tell you, they'll ask you, do you want to be tested? If you say yes, it'll tell you where to go, and they'll set up an appointment time for you and where to go.
And if you're not eligible, should you continue to go on and fill out?
Because, I'm sorry. Yes, you can fill out that assessment many times. So if your symptoms change, you need to go back in there and put more of your assessments in there, because you may then down the road test based on, or be eligible based on what your symptoms are. And also with the tracing, with this algorithm that they're using, they actually weekly send a update to the person that filled in that assessment asking, did your symptoms change? Have anything changed with you?
So it sounds like this is a way for our state to determine where are these hot spots, what areas are maybe safer to open up back for business as usual. What else would you have people want to know about this Test Iowa system?
I think that it's a great initiative. It is in addition to the symptom or the process we already have in place, such as if you are having problems with shortness of breath, elevated temperature, bluish lips, go to the hospital. They have the test sites or the test collection kits available in your local communities. Don't wait, for this Test Iowa to come to Dubuque, because they are setting them up based on where the hot spots are right away. And currently we are not one of the hot spots. And even though we requested, Test Iowa to come to Dubuque County, we understand that they can't set it up everywhere. So, the main thing is, if you have those symptoms, go to the hospital. If you do not have those critical symptoms, then you still want to go into testiowa.com, see if you're eligible, and get a test scheduled. And hopefully, that you get some transportation to one of those sites, or you may be able to take that to your local healthcare provider or call them and say, I'm eligible, but I can't travel to Des Moines or Waterloo.
All right, Diane, thank you so much for this valuable information. Stay well, and we hope to connect with you again sometime down the road.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to talk to the directors of the Dubuque Farmers Market. Welcome back. I'm Shelley Till, and joining me now are Jolynn Pike and Taryn Kafer from Dubuque Main Street. Welcome, ladies.
Hi. Thank you for having us. Hi.
Absolutely. Great to see you on a computer screen. We're all getting used to this. Right?
Yes.
I'm excited to have you on because you guys are like a ray of hope for the Dubuque area right now, because we're talking farmers market and everyone has cabin fever to the nth degree right now. So what can you tell us about what we have to look forward to, Jolynn, in terms of when, where, and how it's all going to work?
Well, this year, Dubuque Farmers Market will open Saturday, May 16th at our normal time of 7 a.m. to noon through September, and it changes from 8 a.m. to noon in October. We will still be hosting the market at our same location, downtown Dubuque on Iowa Street. Though our starting date has changed, our time and our location will stay the same. We've been around this hall for 175 years, and we want to keep it that way. We did not want to change that.
Wonderful. Well, only a couple of weeks away. We're all looking forward to that. Taryn, what can you tell us in terms of what kind of vendors we can expect to see at that point?
Sure. So a lot of the regulations by the Iowa State Governor have limited the certain type of products that we can have down at market, which limits us to about 30 to 40 vendors that sell farm products that will be there on May 16th. Farm products includes plants, animals on the farm, or things like dairy products, poultry products, livestock, fruit, vegetables, flowers, seeds, grasses, honey, lotions, soaps, sanitizers, Iowa wines and beers, and any other products that provide people with food, feed, fiber, or fur. We will have a list of these vendors that will be down there at market closer to May 16th that will be listed on our Facebook page and our website.
And I would imagine, given that, as you mentioned, all of the changes that are happening, and even with the producers and the farmers that provide these things, have you been getting inundated with people wanting to be a part of this?
Yeah, a lot of our vendors want to participate. So most of them that can be there will be there. A lot of our crafters, services, artisans, on-site food preparation will not be down there, at least while these regulations are in place. But that's why we have a digital directory, so you can still directly purchase from those vendors and schedule a no contact pickup or delivery.
And what is the process, Taryn, if someone's watching this and they think, hey, this is a good idea, I should probably try to get in on this, how do they go about becoming a vendor?
Our vendor registration actually closed on April 27th for the year of 2020. So if you're looking to be a vendor for next year, I would talk to Dubuque Main Street and they'll direct you to a Manage My Market website to become a vendor.
And I know you talked about other regulations, but what else is going to be different this year?
Yeah, so market will look very different. It won't be full streets and full vendors and all that fun stuff that we normally have. We're going to keep some things the same, but we will have to regulate certain things. So a lot of our vendors will be spread out. They might not be in their normal space because we need to give them special social distancing as well as the 6 feet social distancing from you and the vendor. So some of the vendors will have double tables or caution tape that you'll have to stay behind as you're purchasing products. We will have hand washing stations and sanitizing stations located on 11th, 12th, and 13th. Our vendors will be wearing masks and gloves. We also ask that the public wears masks when they come to market. Each of their vendors will be disinfecting their booths. All of the vendors will be handling the product. We are asking that the public refrain from touching any of the product. The vendor will pick it up for you and put it in a bag, and then you can take it away from there. Most of our items will be pre-packaged prior to market so that they're wrapped and ready to go for you when you leave the market. There won't be any sampling or serving of foods. There will be lots of signage posted. Most of the signage will state that if you have a fever in the last 3 days or that you're ill, to not participate in market, to wear your mask, cover your coughs and sneezes, no reusable bags, no congregating, stay 6 feet away, try to limit to 1 or 2 people per household, no dogs, no pets, and to reduce the money handling. Part of this, you can set up that prepayment with your vendor directly through that vendor directory, or we do have a token program that limits your cash and money handling throughout the market.
Well, it sounds like that you guys have really put a lot of thought and effort into making this as safe as an event as possible. Jolene, I'm curious to know, you've had a money market program in the past. Will we still be able to see that in going?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, we will still offer the money market program, and that can be found on the booth on Iowa and 12th Street. And we encourage everyone to use this program now more than ever. Credit card, debit card holders can purchase yellow tokens in increments of $5, and that's to purchase anything at market. We also have blue tokens in dollar increments for ET and SNAP card holders, which they can use to purchase items allowed through the program. Along with the EBT tokens, we offer double up vouchers. And with the purchase of your first $10 in EB tokens, you will receive $10 free in double up foods. And that can be used for fruits and vegetables, starter plants and herbs, but they do expire at the end of market. We ask that everyone uses those first. Our money market booth is really great now because it's helping to eliminate contact with credit card being transferred between consumers and vendors. Plus, we're offering a sanitary way to, we can disinfect those, and they will be packaged for everyone. So this will be helpful for consumers who don't want to carry cash, who don't accept cards, but they can accept tokens, and it will reduce the spread of the virus going around. So we want to make sure we keep that in mind, safety and health.
Great. Ladies, thank you so much for being here and sharing this wonderful information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Keith Rahe from Travel Dubuque. Welcome back. Joining me now is CEO and President of Travel Dubuque, Keith Rahe. Keith, nice to see you again.
You too, Shelley. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I can imagine that things are interesting in your office and in the entire Travel Dubuque organization. But we have some exciting news to talk about. Looking forward to the future in 2022. What can you tell us about Viking Cruises coming to Dubuque?
Yeah, right before the whole pandemic, this whole situation which we find ourselves in right now, the city's done a great job in negotiating with Viking Cruise Lines to see that they're here as Dubuque is one of their stops in 2022. And we're really excited about that. I mean, across the board, everyone I've spoken to leading up to this, everyone I've even talked to since, just the opportunity to have this world-renowned excursion company stopping here in Dubuque is a tremendous opportunity for all of us. So, we can't wait.
And I know everybody is asking about this. I've heard the buzz. There was such buzz when the event out at the Field of Dreams, the Major League Baseball game that was going to happen. Is that still going to happen? What is the status?
It's a really good question. I think Major League Baseball at this point is still trying to decide. I was just on a long call the other day with their representatives, and they're really trying to see if they're going to have a season and what that looks like. And I know there's a lot of want to have that, both from their standpoint, the public, and even some other entities. So if that happens, I think, hopefully that the game would still be played at the field this summer. The good news is that since April 6th, they have been continuing the construction of the diamond. That continues today. I drove by it on the way coming into this morning, and they're working on that 5 days a week. And so, hopefully that game is played this summer. Or at the least, we'll have a game there in 2021. So that's really good news.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I can imagine the tourism industry it's taken a hit nationwide, actually worldwide. Can you talk about the impact here locally?
Well, in all honesty, the travel industry has been decimated by this situation. We rely on people having the ability to travel, come in and enjoy what we have here in Dubuque in the tri-state area. And with this whole situation, it's gone away. Our hotels, our restaurants, our bars, our attractions, our venues like Five Flags, the Grand River Center. We had, it's interesting because we were so excited coming into this year with everything that we had from meetings and groups and obviously the MLB game, but everything else from the Iowa's ride, which has been canceled. Everything. We thought 2020 was going to be by far and away the best year we've ever had in Dubuque and the tri-states. And to see that all go away is heartbreaking. But when you see everything else across the world, it kind of brings it into, what we're dealing with here. So it's been tough. I mean, it really has been. But we meet every week by a Zoom call with different partners here in the area to bring them up to date in regards to, what we're doing. We continue to push out Travel Dubuque. A lot of virtual reality right now, what individuals here, families can do. The River Museum does a great job on a weekly basis of doing virtual type activities so people can take advantage of that. But we've got a really strong marketing plan in place for when we are able to open up for business that we can, we want to be proactive with this. We don't want to be reactive, that we can push, that word out. Because one of the unique things about Dubuque and the tri-state is our location. Like we've talked different times, where we're located in these major metropolitan areas is easily within driving distance. And when this smoke screen does lift, so to speak, we feel like those people are going to want to get out of their homes, of their community, and come out and come to a safe place where they can get outside or enjoy something. And that's what we're hoping. So.
And Keith, with necessity comes invention, right? And so what can you tell us in terms of how Dubuquers and the restaurants and the businesses here locally have responded to try to stay afloat, and how the community has kind of rallied around that?
Well, I think the restaurants have done a great job, in all honesty, and I know it's incredibly difficult for them, just like the bars, everybody. The restaurants with the carry-out curbside, and that has been, a lot of them have been doing very well with that. We've been helping promote that. The Chamber has been doing a great job. Barry Gentry on a daily basis is out there supporting our local restaurants and marketing that out on Facebook. And I'm really proud of what he's done. I think he's gained a few pounds with doing that.
We had him on here a couple weeks ago, Barry's Bites.
Yeah. And, so just that type, just the awareness, just to keep people, these businesses and locally, people have been doing a great job of supporting these restaurants. They really have. And that's just great to see. I think that's one, instance where you really see that. The River Museum, once again, they've been doing a great job of keeping the awareness of this is who we are. This is what's going on. Very difficult for the Mystique and the Diamond Joe, obviously, with their doors being closed and such. But I know once that opens, once they're able to start having guests back and what that looks like, Shelley, that's going to be the big thing. I'm on a couple state boards. I just got appointed to a state board last night, actually, of how we come out of this lockdown and what it looks like. And from a safety standpoint, because that's going to be extremely important, with the social distancing, because the virus is not, it's out there. It's not going away until we have some sort of a vaccine in place. So people have to be very careful. Businesses have to be very careful with this as we do. Dubuque County is not there yet, but we will be as we open up for business and what that looks like. And we're talking about from a meeting standpoint, across the board, and it's going to be it's a process like you had mentioned, but people are dealing with it, and got a lot of great people that are working 24 hours a day trying to come up with the best solutions. So,
well, it sounds like you're being proactive about everything. Are you still in the process of trying to figure this out with this board, or are there any solid answers as to when we might be able to open up and how?
Well, this board I just got appointed to this board last night at 5:00, and we've got our first Zoom call next week, Tuesday. But I've been talking to our, I'm part of, we got the DMOs, Destination Marketing Organizations, which we're referred to. There's 32 of us across the state of Iowa. I'm the president of that organization this year. What a year to be president of that. Boy. I should get a really good plaque at the end of this one. We'll see. But we have weekly Zoom calls, and they've been extremely beneficial because, what we're dealing with here, obviously, everyone across the state is dealing with, everyone in the region. I'm also on a Midwest board. Everyone in the nation, everyone across the world is dealing with. So at this point, are there answers? We've got some pretty good, and honestly, in the tourism industry, in all honesty, you really, you don't reinvent the wheel. You look what other people are doing. I think Las Vegas has got a great plan for their hotels, when they open up, and we looked at that. They shared that with us. We passed that along to our partners here locally, because that's going to be extremely beneficial. Clearwater, Florida has some really good benchmarks what they're going to be using as a community. We talked with their people down there. They shared it with us. We're looking at that here locally. And then also I'm sharing that with all of our partners across the state of Iowa, because, it might, all those things being said, some of what that they do might not work for your community, but some of it might. And it gives you a start. And so I think, from that perspective, that's we're, once again, we're trying to be proactive. So when
sounds like it.
Yeah.
We really appreciate your time, Keith, and we hope to have you back again when things are back to normal, as we call it. Stay safe and be well. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Shelley. You too.
And now it is time to finish on a positive note. My guest is Mike Williams from Elevated Images Dubuque. Hey, Mike, how are you?
How's it going? I'm good.
Wonderful. So, Mike, you have a unique profession as a drone photographer, and you're running a contest in the Dubuque area. Tell us about it.
So it's a sidewalk chalk or driveway chalk competition. just to get people outside. You know, I have a lot of people that I know here that have plenty of times in their hands right now. And I know a lot of creative people. I'm from Dubuque, so I just know a lot of people in the area that are looking for something to do and could benefit just from using their mind in a creative way. So I decided just to do the competition in order to do just that. Everything looks better from the sky. So being a drone operator, I get to see that all the time. And, you know, the simplest ideas, the simplest little, you know, you don't have to be a great artist or anything like that. And that's really the fun part about it, is just that people, you know, good artists or not, are just getting outside, creating something, and then we're having fun with it with the drone.
What has the response been so far?
It's been really, encouraging for me just to continue to want, you know, I pushed it back. I pushed the dates back twice because we've gotten so many people engaging in it, so many people excited about it, and even people that aren't able to participate. I got a message from a lady yesterday saying that seeing the chalk every day makes her day, and it just is making her feel so emotional and things like that. So it just, again, not only the people that can participate, but the other people that it reaches. And, you know, it really is just like helping people get through their day and just kind of giving them that little, you know, boost of kind of hope to get through their day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're showing some of the images as we talk, and they're amazing. I'm blown away by the creativity of some of the people. How can people, if they're watching this and want to do this, or how can they get involved?
So if you go to my Facebook page on Elevated Images Dubuque, that's where you can find some information about the contest, as well as some pictures about, or some pictures of some other participants in the contest. So that's where you can find out all the details, is on Elevated Images Dubuque on Facebook.
And what are kind of the criteria and in terms of how do you determine the winner and what's at stake here?
So winner, you know, it's going to be tough because, again, there's a difference between, you know, there has been some amazing artists so far that have really shown their talent. So I haven't quite decided if I'm going to judge on, you know, pure talent or just, you know, fun with it, creativity, that type of thing. So I think I need to, I still have a couple weeks yet till the contest ends, and I need to develop some guidelines there. But no criteria really at all, as long as you any type of design made with sidewalk chalk, sidewalk paint, things like that, enter into the contest, and I'll come check out your place and just come fly the drone and see how it looks.
And what's the deadline for the contest, Mike?
The deadline is May 17th.
So I'm curious, how did you get into becoming a drone photographer?
It happened. I've been flying drones for about 6-7 years now. And actually I've been flying UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles, for about, I want to say 12 years. It started, my drone company started back when I would say about 10. My dad got me my first remote control helicopter. After I crashed about 5 of those, you know, kept getting newer models and things like that. They're the same controls. So all these years later, I picked up a drone, thought that, you know, because I had flown those helicopters, I was interested in flying drones, picked up a drone, and they're the same controls as those old remote control helicopters. So picking up the drone, you know, I could fly it pretty easily right away. It almost felt natural. And because of that connection that I have to my childhood kind of flying it, it just really, you know, it's fun. It's exciting every time I'm flying it. It just reminds me of, again, just kind of being a kid flying around the neighborhood and things like that. And so it's just that connection. It makes me feel, you know, it's just an amazing feeling to be able to explore someplace from the sky that maybe has never been seen before, and perspectives that have never been seen before.
It's a pretty amazing talent that you have, and we appreciate you using it to bring some positivity to our community. And thanks for joining us today, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you. And that wraps this edition of Tri-State Report. Please join me right back here every Friday at 6 p.m. and again on Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 9:30. Be well, stay safe, and we'll see you here next week.